Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We get Game 1 tonight, NBA Finals. Unbelievable series. We're live in Vegas. Circa Resort Casino is the spot. Doug Kazarian joins us in studio now. Longtime NBA. Short-term or short-time WNBA better. But we're going to get into a lot of his best bets for tonight. And he has a lot in that league. And looking at this tonight as well, a great piece today in The Athletic and DougKazarian.com. Oh, yeah. Good to see my man, sharp-dressed man as well.
Well, you got to step it up with you guys usually. I thought maybe not today, but other days you guys break it all out.
It's we average 4 days a week with the sport coat.
Is that right? Okay.
I would say, yeah 3.5 days probably.
Mitch is right. Excellent article.
Oh,
and thanks. I love how the books are in a lose-lose situation. Great quotes from Avello. Can you tell us a little bit about your
article? Can we stop, everybody out there, can we stop the comments? Oh, let's shed a tear for the books. Just because I'm writing a book or an article about the books taking a beating or whatever, it doesn't mean I'm saying show some sympathy. It's called reporting.
Yes,
this is what's going on.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that we're panhandling for the books and trying to pour one out like woe is me. No, it's just telling you what's going on. It's interesting. Some people find it funny. I think it's funny. The books aren't whining. I mean, Novello in that interview, he was like laughing about it. He's like, we're not going to shade any, but we want to give true odds. And I always say it's like the roulette wheel. If a team covers 11 in a row, it's not like where red hits 11 straight. They're not going to start taking red numbers off the wheel, right? And then try to level the play, But there's market correction in sports. I just think it's fascinating when the Knicks are 10-1 ATS in their last 11, a completely different team, outperforming all these metrics. And so what do you do with the market? And I think there's a domino effect in how these Knicks fans celebrating, taking all these ridiculous numbers. Mitch, I know you have the Spurs futures, other mutual friends do. I think it's interesting that the books are trying to massage their risk accordingly, and then they're going to collect on all the tickets on the 29 other teams who don't win the title, and there still might be a net loss in their futures book.
Mm-hmm. It happened almost every week when I did a local radio show with Jay Kornegay at the Westgate beginning in 2004, and it lasted for more than a decade. And every week he would come on and he would report the sharp money, where they're seeing, where we move throughout the week. And then, oh, by the way, recapping college football, it was a bloodbath last night. And people, my reaction would be oh, wow, what did you get killed on? And people would always reach out, oh, don't feel sorry. I'm like, I don't feel sorry for, what are you talking about? Feel sorry for the books. Come on.
Yeah, we're not saying, hey, guys, make sure you, take bad odds, help the books out. No, it's laughable. It's just funny because I know what it's like. Because I get a kick out of it, and Murray's great at relaying some of these stories, John Murray over at the Westgate, and I would put this in some of the articles that he had to go talk to the suits on Monday, and this was early on, new management, and they'd be like, I thought we win every week. What's going on? It's well, there's an ebb and flow to this, kind of like a stock price is jagged a little bit. You can't win every week. The public wins sometimes, but just to have to answer to the suits about why you took a bath on an NFL Sunday when they're sort of new, they're in hotel management and then they're new to the sports book side of things. And you just have to that makes me get a kick out of him having to sit through these meetings or conference calls or whatever and trying to explain stuff and just be drilled with questions.
Wow, it's a good discussion. Number one, it'd be historic if they win because it'd be 65-1, and this doesn't happen in the NBA. And then you're supposed to have experience and playoff experience, and they don't have it either. And they only have one guy with.
But it's a new NBA,
That's
right?
True.
The last 7 years or whatever is we had no repeat title winners.
Correct.
It's more than that though. We've had usually it's 2 favorites. There's 2.5 teams that could win it all.
Yeah.
But starting with was it the bubble or maybe the year when the Nuggets won in 23 or whatever it was. That's when the odds for the second or third favorite were 10-1. I mean, before it was Warriors were minus money, then the Cavaliers, and then the Lakers and Celtics and all these teams were plus 160. I even went back to the 80s and 90s. All those teams, Bulls, they're plus 210. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Now we're getting the favorites 3-1 or something like that. The Thunder next year is plus $3, whatever it is. So that's the whole thing. It's the number of teams plus 1,200 and lower is really, it's 6 or 7 teams, where in the past it used to be 3.
What's sustainable here for the Knicks?
I don't know. I think it's unbettable in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really look, we all do predictions. I got the Knicks in 6, whatever it is, right? But in terms of betting, I think the way the Knicks have performed, it's so different than the regular season. I almost don't care what it was, how they matched up in the NBA Cup. I mean, Wemby's off the bench. This is a different Knicks version, right? So if you're looking for edges and things like that, I would lean into the variance. So anytime there's so many unknowns, you try to take the long shots, right? So-and-so to lead the series in points or rebounds, whatever. But we can only do so much. There's only a few guys who can win each category, right? Yeah, each game is different, right? Josh Hart last series, game 2 went off because Jared Allen wasn't guarding him. But for the whole series, that's a little different. There's a couple. I do like Hart for rebounds at 20-1 at Bet Rivers. Obviously, that's way different than like plus 800 at some of these other books, right? That 20-1's a lot better. But I think like I don't have a play on game 1 except for Wemby under 42.5 points, rebounds, assists. I think that's the only one. We forget game 1 last round was like the MVP presentation with SGA, and he went, he was possessed.
That meant something to him.
That's not the case here. And I think he learned a little bit in that series where you can't just go bananas all the time. You have to almost preserve your energy. And we saw that as the series went on, how he was not chasing every rebound. He let the other guys come help back with Castle, Vassell, and stuff like that. So the number's just astronomical, and he's probably going to go over a couple games in the series, but it's just too big of a number for me not to bet. But it's like a smallest bet possible. It's like the only thing I have because I want to see how this plays out.
Fair enough. I totally agree.
Yeah, number 1 jump shooting team in the playoffs, not close. Number 1 with opposing jump shooting percentage in the playoffs as well. And they're number 1 at the rim with efficiency. That's all Knicks. Like that, how are they going to be efficient at the rim with 7'5" alien that we've never seen before guarding it?
And I love, you guys talked about it. You guys have covered this, A to Z all week, and it's been great. Like the broomstick, the stuff with prepping and the open jumpers that the Knicks opponents missed. I mean, that's variance, and that's not really Knicks related. I was really impressed with the Knicks last game where I thought Cavs started out pretty strong, right? They were up 8 in the first quarter. I was like, I thought they were going to fold because I was on the Knicks. But then they responded. All of a sudden, the Knicks are up 10. We're still in the first quarter. It's like this team can't miss.
Yeah.
You talked about Shamet only having 1 miss from 3 in the entire series. I don't think any team in the history of the NBA could have beaten the Knicks during this run. I mean, just the way they've been. Yes, the opponents weren't the 86 Celtics, but the way they've been playing and they've been crushing them and maybe close out games. Fine. The Hawks folded, obviously. But just the way the Knicks have responded, game 1 was lucky because Atkinson was an idiot. But besides that, I've just been so impressed. And then the key there is Brunson's energy levels preserved for the fourth quarter to do what he did when they run everything through Towns earlier in the game. So I've been really impressed with the Knicks. They're also loaded. I mean, look at the roster. Like these guys are really, really good. OG's fantastic. Towns at his best is really good. He just has foul trouble. Brunson's obviously established himself in the NBA. And all these other key players. Hart was so valuable for even going back to the Lakers. Then he gets moved around. He's been great. So they're a very good roster. You have Wemby and all these other pieces. I think it's going to be a great series. I'm psyched to watch. And I think you just have to be ready to pounce when opportunities present themselves, whether it's the zigzag theory, but also props. Last round, the first round, I was able to sniff out how the Lakers were, or second round was defending SGA. They're getting the ball out of his hand. So I was betting points under every game. Chet, I was on that early. Now, I didn't know everything would go wrong and he'd be Nick Anderson the rest of the series and things like that. But you have to sort of pounce because the math guys shape the market. And they're using data from the entire season. So when there's opportunities, whether it's matchup driven or things along those lines, you just got to go for it because the math guys are the ones who the books respect, and you got to find the opportunities there. And that's where the opportunities present themselves.
They've been so good in transition and the fast break points, especially against Cleveland. Do you like the over tonight like I do? Do you think?
Yeah, you got to always respect the market. So the market's come down a little bit. I will say, I think the Spurs are going to win tonight. I think that rust thing that we saw in game 1 against Cleveland, you can't sort of do anything to avoid that rust. I mean, you can't simulate game speed, right? What do you stick them on a bike like they try to do with hamstring injuries and time? Like, there's nothing you can do. Tell the guys to go all out and have a game, like bring in a fake a scrimmage team. Like now, they had good looks in that game 1. I think first half was 2 of 18 from downtown or something ridiculous like that. I just think the Spurs have the perfect layoff off of game 7. Maybe there's an emotional flat spot, but I think rest, they'll be fine with 3 days off. And I just think the rust thing, we just saw it against the Cavs. Obviously, they're at home. I think so I'm doing some of the exact outcomes of the series. I bet 2 of them, I believe. And Spurs game 1 as the first, sort of check mark.
Okay.
I think the Spurs are really good, too. And I think there's an element of prepping for Wemby. You can only do so much.
How about this? That's completely unsustainable. Shamet 12 of 13 from downtown against the Cavaliers. Now, the Opta AI projections at vsin.com, one of their biggest edges tonight is McBride, 2+3s at +138, I believe. He was 4 of 9 from downtown in the one game. Like, could we see a thing where Shamet just doesn't have it tonight and
Sure.
McBride gets some run and he's going to go out there and take 6 threes and he hits 2 and you're a winner?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mike Brown, look, he's been there before as a head coach and more so as an assistant. He's learned from, I think, better coaches, whether it's Kerr and some of these other situations. I think you learn, like, hey, you got to find the matchups. You almost try things in game one. Not that you're punting on game one, but you have to try some things to see what works. And you just don't know who's got sort of like the chops for the stage. I mean, we've seen people crumble, i.e. Chet, right? Now, that was different because there was a personal rift there with Wemby and everything. And Wemby was, going at him. But aside from that, like, certain guys don't have what it takes for the moment. So that's maybe he might get more opportunity earlier than expected, things like that. But it's going to come at a cost. I think Hart is so valuable to them. But I will say this about the Hart rebounds. His edge during the regular season is effort, right? 82 games each. So, but that competitive advantage of effort, I think, is a little less pronounced when the opponent that he's chasing rebounds with is also playing in the NBA Finals. So he gives NBA Finals effort all season, but now everyone's doing that in theory. But he's obviously got a knack for the ball, and he's really good at that.
All right, big news today. 13 people came in from Kentucky and signed up, each 10 survivors, and Brees Hall just is going to sign up for Grandissimo. So get your proxy ready with Winner's Circle. Contests are open. 1 trip to Vegas. Play all season long from anywhere. Schedule your appointment now. WinnersCircleProxy.com.
More with Doug Kazarian coming up next, including the WNBA, which is his baby. He loves his side tonight, and he'll explain why next here on VSiN.
Let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. I've got something for you that almost feels too good to be true. First, credit where credit's due. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already leveling up your betting game. You're riding along with our best bets and top angles. And when there's a good game on, you're getting involved with a few props and alt markets as well. There's one more layer if you really want to step things up, and that's VSiN Pro. I've mentioned it before, but things are only getting better for our pro subscribers. We just rolled out our MLB prop projections, breaking down some of the best edges across strikeouts, hits, home runs, and more. And that's on top of everything else pro subscribers already get, including public betting splits, expert picks, and betting guides across the sports calendar. If you haven't tried it yet, stop sleeping on it. You can get your first month just $9.99 or save big with promo code POD26 on the annual subscription. Hit the link in the description and start cashing in with VSiN Pro. All right, back to the show.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here live in Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Doug Kazarian, our guest, longtime NBA bettor, loves the WNBA as well. DougKazarian.com is the website. What did you make of Wembanyama telling the media, I think it was yesterday? Yeah, it must have been yesterday morning, basically, that they have not, like, he's speaking for the entire team. Like, we haven't come down from that win yet over Oklahoma City. And he actually said we have like 30 hours to get ready for a game.
Well, I love the fact that he has no filter, right? He was asked after game one how much he wanted to win that MVP award. He was very seemingly transparent, right? Like, he's been very true with everything, and that's just so refreshing. And he's just obviously such an intelligent, thoughtful kid at 22, right? It's ridiculous. I think that's fair. I mean, look, he had an issue with the MVP going to SGA. He's had a long rivalry with Chet, and they dethroned the defending champs with a Game 7 road win. How can you not be high? What do you expect him? You know, Doug Collins on broadcast would always talk about body language. So important after this game. Like, what do you want him to just walk off the court and like high five a teammate?
No, I thought it was very refreshing.
No, I'm not attacking you,
yeah.
but like, so that's all expected. And I think these guys, I mean, look, the guy's probably meditating for 90 minutes after he said that comment, and he's going to be ready to go in competition mode come tip off tonight. I think he'll be fine once the teams get out there in the pomp and circumstance pregame.
I find it refreshing from like most of the European players. Like, remember how Giannis during the run? Giannis was awesome to the media. Going through Chick-fil-A and putting that on Instagram was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you think it helps the league or hurts that you can look at this and the casual fan, both teams are so likable?
I think it helps. Well, there's an element. I think there's always going to be some resentment towards New York, whether it's political and all this stuff across the country. Like, not everyone loves New York, even though they are an underdog in a lot of ways. It's still obviously a valuable franchise and with a huge payroll. And James Dolan isn't exactly have a lot of fans.
Well, that's well said.
But I think in general, I think it's good for the league. I mean, there are optics, whether the people who untrained eye think the salaries are too high, or no one plays defense in the NBA, or everyone's glorifying yesteryear of the back in the day, even though the games were in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
And, Steve Kerr himself has said he would never make a roster nowadays, even though he was starting in the NBA Finals, but people want to ignore that. And the influx of European players, which means it's just a math thing. There's more people playing basketball and the more of a talent pool from around the world, right? It's as simple as that. And as Russillo would always say, the mile time doesn't get slower, right? It's getting faster. Like, people are getting better because of technology and nutrition, whatever. But I just think the optics, and it's such, and David Stern said this with the Malice in the Palace, and the reason they put in all these rules about fighting and stuff like that, it's the most visible and accessible sport, right? In football, there's helmets, hockey, and there's always separation from the actual playing field to the fans, whether it's a barrier like the hockey or football, and there's distance in baseball. But they're right there on the court, and they're very sort of intimate. And that's why, so you think you know these guys, and that's why there's so much scrutiny of the stars in the NBA. And obviously it's a star-driven league because there's only 5 guys playing at a time and things like that. So I think when you get likable teams, I think that's a win for the NBA. I think Wemby's the greatest thing that happened to the NBA because you have these stories, whether it's the salaries, the flopping, all this other stuff. I think it's a great thing for the NBA. And the Knicks are a likable team, but there's always going to be some sort of New York pushback.
All right, so official bets for you: Hart 20-1 or better, most rebounds, and over 5.5 games.
Yes. Yeah, I do like that one. I mean, it's getting pricey, but I just don't see. Now, we've seen very competitive series that somehow go 5 games because of just the way the end of some games can break. But I do think we're in for a good long series here.
WNBA tonight. Only a couple of games on the slate, but you do love a side here.
I do.
Now, it's moved. You may be responsible for that move. Do you still love it?
It's moved 2 points from 5.5 to 7.5. Look, it's game 11, so it's 1/4 of the season. But it's a must-win for Phoenix, and they have to get back on track. This team is 2-8, went to the finals last year. They lost Sabally, one of their 3 best players, right? The 3 Olympians they have. But they've been a disaster this year. Now, the last run they're on, I think they've lost 5 or 6 straight. They've lost to really good teams who played great, and they were in some of those games. But they just have to get back on track. They're getting some of their shooters back the last couple games. And then Storm are just absolutely horrendous. They're really bad. They're kind of tanking. They're playing like 10 deep. And they're just building for the next couple years. Their best player, Malanga, still not back from concussion. It's been a couple weeks. Their all-star from last year hasn't played yet all year. So they have a bunch of players and cast-offs that just aren't good. A couple of them are okay. They just lost by 23 in Dallas on Monday.
Yeah, and you love the Wings, by the way.
And I did. And the Wings got there because I thought Commissioner's Cup, point differential matters. I thought the coach would play his starters, at least in the fourth. Didn't even, first and second string weren't playing in the fourth quarter. The third stringers with the Seattle starters played them even.
Oh,
good info.
Oh,
so,
man.
I mean, you got Heidemann, who's like played at the Lynx a couple years. She's okay. She's like their best scorer. I mean, this team is terrible. And they just keep losing. They have no shooting.
Good. Okay.
So I think Mercury have to get right. This just has to be a beatdown.
What's going on with Chicago? Since Rakia Jackson
they have the
got
worst
hurt,
front office in all of sports.
They've lost 5 in a row since the injury, and they've been blown out in 4 of them.
Yeah, I had him last night, so not happy. I thought it was a must-win for them, and I think they should fire their coach. I think he's bad. So he's a former player development guy in the NBA, then was a former player development with the Aces, and then they made him a head coach, and he just makes bad decisions, can't figure that stuff out. The team looks lost on defense and on offense. It's just the league's gotten better with coaching, and he's not the answer. But either way, the front office is terrible. They've made certain moves. Horrible draft situation. They're a disaster, and I think the season's lost now.
Okay, something to follow. Futures. For Fernandez, the coach?
Dallas.
Since he went off now, they're playing great ball.
Yeah.
And Fudd going back in the starting lineup. How about some futures on Dallas?
So they're trying to figure stuff out, and that's what Jose Fernandez was saying, right? They signed Alana Smith in the offseason, so they signed the 4 and the 5 from Minnesota. And Jessica Shepard's been fantastic. Alana Smith's been the biggest bust there is. She just can't get out of her own way. Then she had a broken nose and things. She's wearing a mask. Maybe she finds her way. She's a co-defensive player of the year last year. She just hasn't been good, like dribbling off her feet kind of bad. But, Fudd's basically Klay Thompson, right? So doesn't need the ball a bunch, can catch and shoot off the dribble, great defender for a wing, and she's a perfect fit for that team because they already had Paige Beckers handling the ball. And they're all sort of figuring stuff out. I think there's a high ceiling to a certain extent, but They don't play great defense. I think when the chips are on the table in the playoffs, like I think they're going to get eliminated. But again, teams can get a lot better, and he's a good coach. And so maybe Paige Becker sort of takes the leap and becomes a superstar that she really kind of has the capabilities. She just defers so much. I mean, that's the thing. So she's not going to put up ridiculous numbers because she plays, quote unquote, the right way.
Okay, yeah, because you came on the show and you gave Wings regular season win total over and yes to make the playoffs. The same thing with the Valkyries, Golden State. But I asked you specifically, like, what number would you need to bet Dallas to win the whole thing? And your response was, without even looking at it, you're like, I'd need at least 25-1. That's not available. The best I could find was 17-1. Like,
I have 30-1 from the beginning of the season, but even before free agency. See, I thought with all the free agency movement, they'd get someone, a superstar. Now they got players, but they didn't get the big one because everyone was a free agent last offseason, except for the rookie deals from the last couple of years. So I thought, hey, look, you got a good coach coming in. You got Paige Becker's on contract. You got a brand new facility, no state tax in Texas. That didn't happen, but I have them, obviously still have the ticket. Right?
How good is Golden State overall?
I think they're great. I think they basically play 5 out at times, and they are so well connected. They're so well coached. They're going to be, if they hit threes, they can beat anyone. They really can. I think they could win it all. The key is, I think they're going to finish with a 1 or 2 or 3 seed. Same with the Wings. I think there's a way because I think depth is so important now that it's a 44-game schedule, and teams like the Aces and Liberty just don't care about the regular season. It's kind of like the NBA. So I think teams that have depth, like ridiculous depth, like the Valkyries and Wings, can finish with a high seed. So I've been eyeing them for like an MVP ticket. And that's what I've been sort of trying to, reverse engineer it, saying who can stand out, where can the narrative come from? But Asia's like even money right now, and she's just so much better than everyone. And the Aces will probably win enough games.
You mentioned Chicago. How bad is Indiana with how they're handling things in their organization?
Well, I don't like Stephanie White. I think she screwed up they had a lot of injuries last year, but she made very poor substitution decisions. There's a disconnect there. They don't play defense at all. Nope. And I think they're also getting everyone's best shot. Like there's some Caitlin Clark jealousy, things like that. And the Fever, they're not the defending champs, but they have a bullseye on their back because of Caitlin Clark. And it's exhausting to get everyone's best shot day in and day out. Now, they don't play every night or every other night, but that's what's happening. And the officiating does stink. It's really bad. But it doesn't mean you whine to the refs. Like the whole league is chirping at the refs. And it comes from the NBA, maybe because they're making more money. It's annoying to watch. Everyone's got something to say to the ref, and they're probably right some of the time, but sometimes you just got to play through it. And I think that's wearing on the team. And they got all these podcasts. I mean, 2 of the players have podcasts, and there's all this other nonsense going on. If I'm a coach, I'm, cracking the whip, so to speak, and trying to block out the noise and get this team back on track. But I'm not, there's plus 550 to miss the playoffs. It's not the worst bet.
All right. In about 45 seconds here, did you find anything when you were digging, looking elsewhere other than A'ja Wilson?
I bet Jessica Shepard around town on Sunday at 275-1 to win the MVP. It was just a bad number. And then 100-1. And then I took 75-1 again. It got to 50. I didn't bet it, but it's now 35-1 at a couple shops. There's a path there where she could be like Alyssa Thomas was a few years ago that should have won, and I don't want to go down that path, but triple doubles, things like that of a top seed. Again, it could, I hope it does, comes down to most valuable versus the best player. A'ja Wilson's best player, maybe injuries, who knows? You don't root for that. But I don't know. I mean, look, at 275-1 or 100, I'm going to take a shot.
Okay,
I do think they're going to finish with a top 2 record, top 3 record.
For the audience right now, 35-1, is it playable?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, she just put up some 20-20 triple doubles.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, if she couldn't just do that, yeah. I mean, they beat the Aces last week.
DougKazarian.com. Thank you. Enjoy it. Best of luck this week. Matt Youmans next. Opinion on tonight's game, Stanley Cup Game 2, and some baseball.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Time now for some more best bets on the board for tonight and beyond. We go out to the Progressive guest line. VSiN host Matt Youmans, his weekly spot with us now. Matt, good to talk to you as always. Let's begin with Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Your best bet tonight, side, total, prop, anything. Go ahead.
All right. By the way, that was a great spot with Doug Kazarian there. But when he started talking WNBA, I had to turn the channel for about 10 minutes. Hopefully he's got some winners in the W. I hate the WNBA almost as much as broccoli and Brussels sprouts. But
wow.
I tell you what, I really don't like that league at all. Strongly dislike it. But I tell you what, this NBA Finals is about as good as it gets.
Yep.
We got Wemby, who might be the face of the association here for the next 5 or 10 years. and the Knicks, who have been there or back for the first time since 1999. And I think it's going to be a long series. My best bet is over 5.5 games. I had to pay the price on that.
Yeah.
I had to pay minus 170. But I think it's easier to say it's going to be a long series than to say who's going to win the series. And I do believe the Knicks are live. And I think they're going to be able to stretch this thing out. One thing that bothers me about the Knicks is when you look at who they played in the East, the Hawks, the Cavs, and the Sixers ranked 10th, 15th, and 17th in defensive rating in the regular season. The Spurs ranked 3rd. And also the Spurs have big physical guards who can defend Jalen Brunson and give him a lot of trouble in this series. And I think that's one thing I'm going to be hesitant about Jalen Brunson props. I think a lot of times you expect him just to put up big numbers. But you've got Stephon Castle and big guards who can, I think, make things more difficult for Brunson here. I don't like to bet unders in these NBA games because it's extremely aggravating and it kind of ruins your night. You sit there for 2.5, 3 hours rooting for things not to happen. You hate it when guys hit threes or there's a bunch of free throws. But I feel like under 218.5 was the better play tonight. I did bet that, but I did not even put it up on VSiN Pro because it's a really small bet. I bet like a case of beer and a pastrami sandwich at the Hat on it. That's about it.
Give us a review. How was it?
I already gave you the review on the show 2 weeks ago.
Was it? I don't think you ever got to it.
No, I think you
no,
said you
said you were going to.
Yeah,
it was off air.
Yeah.
That was off air.
We did it on the air. Well, I said you got to go in the restaurant. Don't sit in the drive-through because the line stretches all the way down the street.
You all right?
You asked me twice where the restaurant was located. I said it's on Rainbow, South Rainbow and 215. And get the pastrami sandwich, but pack your appetite because it's a big sandwich. It's got pickles and mustard on it. Get the pastrami dip sandwich. I got to go back to try the dogs, the hamburgers, and the chili. But the key is, the pro tip is, don't sit in the drive-through because the line stretches all the way down the block. Take you about an hour to get through. Park your car, walk across the street, go inside. You'll get served in about 10 minutes. The Hat's worth the trip.
Thank you. Well done.
Ask your producer, Luke. We talked about it 2 weeks ago before you took vacation.
How about NHL? What do you make of what happened in Game 1 with the high-scoring game in Vegas, now $1.50 adjusted series price?
Okay, so I think both these goalies are better than what they showed last night.
Yeah.
Frederik Andersen looked like he was blindfolded most of the night, and they were making some mistakes in front of him. And Carter Hart, we've seen play at a much higher level, too. 9 goals last night, and how about that? All 9 were scored at full strength, not on the power play.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I think there's got to be regression. I did not bet anything on Game 1. I think we're going to play under 6, minus 120 there. It's shaded a little bit under. I'm going to play under 6, I think, in Game 2. There's got to be some scoring regression. I don't think we're going to continue to see games quite like that. And by the way, Paulie, I think I heard you say early in the show, when I was driving around here, I was headed to Burger King for Whopper Wednesday, and I was listening to you, and I think you said, just kind of tossed it out there, that the Hurricanes are going to win the series.
Yes.
Carolina's going to come back and win the series.
Yes.
You said that dismissively, like the Golden Knights don't have a shot here. I said this is another one I think is going to go 6 or 7 games, and the Knights are definitely live here. The Knights are a bigger team. They're more physical. They're checking the crap out of these guys. They're very good defensively. And I think that's a big difference that Tortorella's made since he's taken over as coach. And by the way, you go back since he took over as coach, the Knights are 24-1. I think a lot of that has to do with Carter Hart's great goaltending, which we did not see last night. So I lean under 6 in Game 2. I'll probably bet that.
Matt Youmans, our guest here on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. You have Cam Schlittler at 300-1 to win the American League Cy Young. Last night was the first bad start that he's had the entire year. Did not look good. I was listening to you guys on the show last night. You referenced it many times. You're like, he just looks off. Have you added anybody else since, Matt?
Yeah, that's interesting. You listen to a lot of VSiN, huh? Because I did say in the first inning, and again in the second inning, and the third inning, Schlittler doesn't have it tonight. He doesn't have it. I could see it in the first inning. He didn't have it. He was leaving fastballs high in the strike zone. His facial expressions, his body language is negative. He looked tired. And I said, don't lie, bet the Yankees. Schlittler didn't have it. That's the first time all year he didn't have it, right? And every great pitcher is going to have 2 or 3 bad starts over the course of a season because you're talking 6 months. So I'm not that concerned about it. But it was obvious he didn't bring it last night. Now, Garrett Cole, on the other hand, if you've watched his last 2 starts, he's had it. And especially in his last start, he was outstanding. Nobody could touch him. And that's concerning that Aaron Judge is not in the lineup. And, it's kind of like Paulie Howard not being in the middle of the VSiN lineup. You're missing a big bat there. But I'm going to still play the Yankees here at minus 145 with Cole. He was untouchable last time out. I think the Yankees get back on track. Offense wasn't a problem last night. Just a rare, really bad start for Cam Schwittler.
How about Skeens on the road again with the Pirates? What do you think of that game?
I split this. With Skeens, you never know. You never know if the Pirates are going to score for him. They scored 10 last night, and watch. Tonight they won't score for Skeens. It's very bizarre how that happens. But Spencer Arrighetti, going for the Astros, has been off to a great start, 7-1, 134 ERA. The one thing that's troubling, he's got a high number of walks, does Arrighetti. I split this half unit Astros plus 137 and under 8 for a half unit. That's how I played that game.
All right. Good enough. By the way, with your time slot on the air last night during game 1, you're not on the air tonight, but you're on the air tomorrow night for game 2 of the Cup final. You're on the air doing live betting. Talking about that for Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Pretty cool this time of year, Matt.
We got lucky. I'm sure you guys will feel the same way. I mean, we got the Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Final. We got a great NBA Finals matchup between the Knicks and the Spurs. We're going to be able to sit back and watch Spike Lee and Paul Bovey sitting courtside at the Garden. This is going to be great.
Absolutely.
And look at all the great pitchers we got going tonight. We didn't even talk about Ohtani. Do you play Ohtani on the run line tonight? He's going for the Dodgers, and he's been incredible lately. So, a lot of times in sports talk, radio, TV, June can be a dead time, and you can dread it. This June looks like it's going to be action-packed, and you guys love the World Cup, and that's we got the U.S. Open and the World Cup right around the corner. So this is actually going to be a great month.
You did give the review, stand corrected on air. I think that's when you said the first chef was Colonel Sanders as
that's
well.
Right.
You covered this team. You did Last Dance at the drive-thru. You could argue most anticipated NBA Finals since Jordan in The Last Dance, can't you? With Wemby against a team that hasn't won it since '73 in the number 1 market.
Yeah, I think you could say that, but if you go back to the mid to late teens, I think those Golden State Cleveland series had high anticipation too, right?
Yep.
I thought those were great series. Celtics Lakers, there was a lot of anticipation, but it didn't turn out to be a great series, but highly anticipated. But yeah, I don't think I've ever looked forward to anything more than those Bulls finals in the late 90s.
Good answer.
Did you bet anybody in golf this week?
You know what? I did play. Sorry about that. I played Scotty Scheffler top 5 at minus 125. If Scheffler wins this week, I'm going to buy a one-way ticket to Thailand. Scheffler plus 350. Scheffler top 5. I played Justin Thomas top 20 at plus 130. And Ludwig Oberg, who I can't stand. I can't bet him to win, but I played him top 10 at plus 160. I believe it was Cliff Kingsbury who initially said he bought a one-way ticket to Thailand, right? And he ended up coming back
That's
about
right.
2 months later.
Yeah, you are right. Yes.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.
All right, Matt. Thank you. Best of luck tonight and this week.
Okay, you bet. Thanks.
Yeah.
Follow him on X at @Umis247. By the way, off the air tonight, but Femi Abebefe and Will Hill will be on the air tonight for Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Disappointed in the negativity early on. Doug Kazarian once gave me a water polo play. Who cares Doug's a genius.
Yeah,
and he knows everything. Who cares if the ticket cashes?
No, his stance on the WNBA has to dial down a little bit.
Yeah, got to stop.
It doesn't. I mean, think back towards the pandemic.
Yeah,
we were trying to find edges with Russian ping pong.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about stooping to the bottom of the barrel, but you had to do what you had to do. It doesn't matter. I mean,
I never thought I'd be into it. I thought the sport was so bad. I played that gal one-on-one. Sequoia
the
Holmes,
WNBA
player.
Yeah.
They said shut the league down if I beat her. I scored 11 points on her.
With the Russian ping pong, I knew that I tapped out. When I bet a guy and the bet lost, his name was spelled, it was off by 3 letters. I'm like, that'll do it for me. I'm out now. In Pocket next. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of these sports books and how they operate. What happened to me this morning and happens to a lot of you listening and watching right now should be illegal.
algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're out.
All right. Expected a low-scoring series. Bad start. Stanley Cup. Fantastic game. Carolina kind of did the same thing they did against Montreal in Game 1. Ton of mistakes. Brind'Amour let them have it. I think they respond. They better respond tomorrow, or the season could be over. But I love that we got finals action here every single day. And here we go tonight. Can't wait for this big boy. Champagnie, most threes in the series, plus 270. I don't mind him tonight. First made 3 of the game as well. He did have a game in the regular season against the Knicks when he hit 11. Most rebounds in the finals. Wemby minus 140. You're telling me the guy that's going to bother me or could prevent this from cashing is Towns, who's always in foul trouble? Okay, give me the alien. Brunson scores 20 in every game, plus 240. There's another prop up at Caesars where he hit 1 3 in every game. That's $1.70. Will a game go to overtime in the Stanley Cup final? No, 4 to 1. More on this coming up. Looking forward to Mitch's story. OG MVP 40 to 1. There's a case, and I think it's if he can lock down Wemby and knock down some shots and maybe average 20 for the series, kind of like what Iguodala did against the Cavs years ago. Back to Towns, over 3.5 assists at Will Hill and Caesars. I think he'll be more of a playmaker again and not rely on what Brunson did to just target and go after Harden. Spurs in 6 for the hell of it, 5 to 1. This is great. This is also up at Will Hill and Caesars. He's minus 1,000 tonight. Will Wemby win the tip, opening tip of every game? Yes, minus 190. Love that that's offered. And love that they have both teams to score in the first minute. How many points in the first minute? First basket. How many dunks in the first 3 minutes? How many three-pointers? It's great. And tonight, Corbin, last 12 starts against the Braves, is 0-11 with an ERA of 7 and change. Let's take Atlanta. Good luck.
Same to you, Paulie. Okay, so last night, 1-3 overall with the bets. The winner was the Pirates and Astros year fee. Yordan Alvarez goes yard in the first inning, so that was a winner. The Rangers Cardinals year fee was no good. Leadoff double by Jock Peterson, could not advance, could not score. So that was a loser. Hurricanes under 5.5 plus 102, no good. And Davis Martin spotted a 3-run lead against the Twins, minus 118. Fishy number. Yeah, it certainly was. That was a loser. I have Sankoven most shots on goal pending in the series, 16 to 1 for a small bet. That's we'll see what happens tomorrow night in game 2. We had a couple last night. I'm also with you, Paulie. I tailed today, Champagnie, with most threes in the finals, plus 275. And tonight, well documented here on the show earlier with the players' success. Like 5 guys for the Braves have awesome numbers against Corbin. I'm going Braves first 5, team total over 2.5 minus 115. I played the full game, team total over 4.5 at plus 112. And this is I'm tailing Matt Fitzpatrick. I'm tailing Jeff Seeley. He was very high in Matt Fitzpatrick yesterday, and also running numbers on ChatGPT this week for the golf tournament. The best play it spit back out at me was Fitzy top 10 plus 165, and here at Circuits plus 180. So that is a bet for me in pocket as well. Let me give you this from Lance on X for the game tonight. Small, quick bets. Hart first 3 of the game, 8 to 1.
Yeah.
Champagnie 16 to 1, first basket of 3, and Hart first basket of 3, 40 to 1.
16 to 1.
Yeah, for his first basket.
Oh, first. Okay, got it.
Or so that's got to be for the game, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Wemby wins a tip.
Yeah, I want Champagnie first made 3.
Okay.
Right. And that's going to be awesome to track all series long. Doug Kazarian gave out the Mercury tonight, WNBA. Good discussion with him, and a good card tomorrow. Fever take on the Dream. So that's Clark against Reese.
Yeah.
And the Lynx here we are again. The Lynx are only 2.5. Peekaboo. At home against Golden State.
Yeah,
the Lynx have been killing people.
Yeah, Valkyries are very good.
Yeah, sure.
But Lynx are as well.
World Cup kicks off in days. Can't wait. And tomorrow from 1 to 2 Eastern, we have you covered with a 1-hour World Soccer betting preview by Patrick Maher. Retired USA player Christopher Sullivan joins the show, along with Will Gavin and Alex Crook, from the group stage all the way through the knockout rounds, best bets, and the angles you need before the opening whistle. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on VSiN with the World Cup soccer preview. Looking forward to it.
Oh, that is superb.
Right around the corner.
Yep. Okay, so here's what happened to me earlier today. And it kind of ties in last week live on the air, trying to get down on UCLA, trailing 3-2 at a different book here in town, and rejected live on the air. It was in the middle of the ninth, by the way. Rejected. Like, I just don't understand the state of the industry. It's getting way worse than it's ever going to get better the way it seems.
People, I think, are stunned by this, as they should be. How does this happen?
Yep. So I knew at some point, like leading into this, I was going to get down on OG Anunoby to win the finals MVP. The more I was listening, the more I was reading, was kind of some confirmation bias towards that. And today I'm shopping around. I'm looking for numbers, and he's around 35 or 40 to 1. Then I see a 70 to 1 out here in Las Vegas at Station Casinos.
Definitely a path for him.
Oh, yeah, you would think, right? Defensively, if he is going to be on Wemby, number one, if he does a decent job, that can only help. And then if he's going to fill it up like he was for a lot down the stretch this year, that's going to be icing on the cake. And maybe there's a path there for 70 to 1 to get down. I tried $200, taking a little bit of a shot here, $200 at 70 to 1 on OG Anunoby.
Good bet.
Within seconds, Station Casinos accepted a bet of $14. They rejected the remaining $186. They then, for the next couple of minutes, took the market off the app completely. And as I kept going back to check and look when they were going to put it back up, they did a few minutes later, and OG Anunoby was listed at 35 to 1. Oh. I would ask anybody listening to this show or watching right now, how is that legal? That is that kind of practice. And I've always wanted to bring on somebody from Nevada Gaming just to talk to them about things like this and ask them the question, how do they get away with that? How is that acceptable behavior? And I know that for those of you, you could be living anywhere in this country right now, listening or watching, this has happened to you at various sports books. It doesn't matter where, and you're trying whatever kind of bet it is. This happened all the time right away when PASPA was shot down. And we would see, hey, great, we can now bet legally. They will take $4.19. And it just, I don't have it on there. If I'm putting in a number, just say that that's too high on the app then, and I know what I can get down. You can't take a bet for $14 and then move the number and cut it completely in half. Am I wrong?
No, it's outrageous. And
yes.
No, but there's other instances, though, of rejecting the bet, not taking anything, and then moving it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's again where I'm giving you information and you're using it against me. Where I think, hey, this is what I like, this is my play, and then it's, oh, is this a mistake? Oh, is this too high? And then it's, you don't even take it anything, even a penny.
Yep.
And then, but just 14. I mean, some of this stuff, don't even put it up.
Don't even offer. That's the thing. Like
$10, $5, $4. Yep. What is this?
Your menus are so big at so many sports books. What's the point? Because you won't take a bet on 95% of it anyway. It's absolutely maddening. And I hate to say it, but look, I mean, the state of the industry is not in a good spot right now. And this kind of stuff, this is not slowing down anytime. It's only picking up. It's only becoming more commonplace at books. I don't know. I don't know what, dude. I'm going to be down. Westgate's going bye-bye at the end of the year, or at the end of the summer.
Yeah. We're
going to be down to like 2 or 3 books that are usable in the entire state. And we don't have prediction markets. Criminal.
Being limited. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Best outcome for the league is what? Knicks in 6? Wemby has to wait?
Well, yeah, because then they win at home.
No domination? Or, okay, Knicks win, period. Best result for the league is a Knicks championship.
I say, yeah, Knicks in a long championship,
right,
or a long finals stretched out over at least 6 or 7 games, and the games are super dramatic. Because the Spurs-Thunder series, if it was played like games 1 and 7 the entire time, would have been an all-timer.
Yeah.
The middle games were kind of not great.
That. Yeah, you have that. But Doug was also right, too, when we got Lakers-Celtics twice. Tough. not blowouts or tough watch.
Very true.
Then you got the epic Game 7 when the Lakers won it.
Mm-hmm.
When Kobe was 6 of 24, I believe. But this has all the makings. Highest rated conference final since 2002. OKC and San Antonio. And to your point, we had some stinkers in there.
Well,
it's just this guy changes everything now for the league and what it means. Billions are going to be watching around the world.
Sure. What if tonight plays out like game 1 of the East or the West?
Oh, forget it.
Knicks down by 20, come back and win.
Right.
Spurs and Thunder go to overtime. He has 41 and 24. Stay tuned. Femi Abebefe, Will Hill tonight. They're going to take you through the entire live betting night, game 1 of the NBA Finals. Best of luck out there.